What's up, guys? Welcome back to Veteran Aquatics. My name is Dylan, and today we're doing an awesome fish and shrimp room tour of my friend Zach. So stay tuned, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in a minute. Alright, so we're going to start here, and this is a custom 40-gallon tank. Do you want to go ahead and take us through what's in the tank, Zach?
Yeah, this is a catfish tank. Everything in here is a catfish and mystery snails. I've got a couple different kinds of cory catfish. There's an albino, pygmy cory, a couple green Aeneas cory catfish. I got a Bristol cory cat. Back under the rock, there's a polka dot pictus catfish.
You can see him right there under that piece of slate.
Yeah, he's hiding right now, but if we give him some food, he'll come out. He's pretty aggressive, actually.
And then
Underneath this rock here, there's probably 15 to 17 glass catfish.
And every time I look, I think I see more, because at first I saw the bottom couple, and then as I got at a lower angle, there's so many of them.
I just love how they school me, and I had to have them in here.
Yeah,
that was the whole reason I set this tank up to begin with.
Really?
Yeah, I ended up it felt empty with all the plants being so low to the bottom, so I started putting the water lettuce in the top, and it has gone gangbusters.
Ooh, we're going to have to talk about that.
Yeah,
all right.
So I got two kinds of water lettuce in there.
Nice.
There's also a Farlawana catfish over on the side, if you would step around and check him out.
You can see him sticking to the side right there. Does he have trouble eating things like flake?
I feed him pellets.
Gotcha.
He likes the vegetarian pellets. There's also a banjo catfish in here. Let me see if I can locate him. He likes to dig himself under the sand, so he's tough to find.
So something that you're going to notice about all of Zach's tanks is they all have a ton of plants. And if you've noticed the kind of fish rooms I've been in lately, they're all planted. So that should give you some clue as to the direction that I also intend to go with my fish room.
I can't find that banjo. We'll have to check him out later.
Oh, that's all right. And then we can go ahead and turn over here, and we have 3 more tanks up here.
Slide this chair. So the one on the right is a little community tank. That was actually my first tank. And there's a Dumbo half-moon beta fish in there. That's one of the only fish that has a name. Her name is Bo. His name is Bo. My daughter insists on calling it a girl, so I get confused.
Bo's just chilling.
Yeah. He's not showing off right now. I got a couple rasboras in there. Lamb chop rasboras. There's 6 coolie loaches, 3 of the black and 3 of the striped, but they're probably all underneath the rock over there. And a couple cherry shrimp just to start eating some of that algae that's going crazy. I had some macro algae that's now growing on the filter in the back, and it was growing like a nice carpet on the top, but then it got taken over by a couple different kinds, and I had a bunch of snails die off, so it kind of went crazy.
There we go. Now Bo's swimming around a little more.
Yeah, there he goes.
Right, and then we're going to swing around to this tank.
That's my cherry shrimp tank. That back corner there, if you take a peek, there's probably a whole swarm of them.
Oh yeah, look at that.
There you go.
Little shrimp feeding dish.
Hundreds of shrimp in there. Ultimately, that's the longest I've had a shrimp tank set up. So they've had a lot of time to sit in there and breed.
Well, they certainly have. There's a ton of them in here. And the longer you look, the more that you see. But I think that's true of pretty much most shrimp tanks. Get this awesome... What is this?
That's all Java moss.
Really?
Yeah, I bought a couple, I think 4 different portions, and then wove them through a piece of a rake.
So I was wondering how you got them to kind of sit like that.
I got it tied to a rake, and they've grown so big. I've actually cut that all the way back, and it's growing out a second time.
That's awesome.
Yeah, you gotta have lots of plants for shrimp.
Yes, sir. And then the last tank upstairs.
This is my barb tank. I got a lot of different kinds of barbs in there. There's a blue tiger barb. I got a rosy barb. There's a golden rosy barb in there as well. A veil tail cherry barb. There's a regular cherry barb and an albino cherry barb. I got 2 barred barbs. There's a blue bard that kind of hangs out in the back. He's a little longer fish with stripes on him, and he's super fast. That's him underneath the log.
Have you had any problems with the aggression with the barbs?
Only with some fish. I've tried to put a couple different kinds of fish in there that are like catfish. Can't remember. I think I got a red-tailed shark I put in there that the barbs just did not get along. He didn't survive. He didn't make it. But as long as I'm putting them with other semi-aggressive fish, honestly, they've been doing great. I've had tons of different fish go through there. I had gouramis living in there with them for a while. There's actually, skimming along the top, you're going to have to look for them specifically. There's a Malayan half-beak that's in there. You may have an easier time trying to open the lid because he's a surface feeder. That fish has a lower jaw that doesn't move at all, and the top of his jaw actually opens like a trap door, and that's how he eats.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, that's him.
That's cool. There, it's actually way more colorful than any other half-beak I've seen.
Yeah, the males have a little bit of red and yellow.
That's really cool.
Are a little more plain.
Is he a live bearer as well, like the other half-beaks?
I believe so, but I only have one. So
gotcha.
they breed in brackish water. That'll be a project for another day.
That'll be a fun project, though.
Yeah, I need to get a low boy tank for that.
There you go. All right, and we'll head on downstairs to the actual, what equates to your fish room. So now we're downstairs, and down here is where you have the bulk of your tanks. So let's go ahead and start with this one.
So I've had a lot of problems with this tank. I had it all planted at one point, and I have slowly removed each plant for one reason or another, and now I'm having hair algae problems. But I have a couple different gouramis in here, some powder blue dwarf gouramis are probably my favorite ones. And then the regular blue gourami down there, the orange one.
Yeah, dwarf gouramis are cool. They have really awesome color, and like you can see it on this one. They're just so reflective. They have that nice neon blue. And there's a pleco in here as well.
Yeah, just a regular pleco. He's probably on the back of the filter.
Yeah, he was out, and then he decided he didn't like the phone. All right, and then we'll drop down.
So I was breeding platies in this, but I've decided to stop breeding platies and instead start breeding these little antlers here. These red chili antlers. So we're acclimating them a little bit, and we'll be pulling this guy's all deformed right here with him. We'll be pulling all the rest of the fish out of there and just having the mystery snails and the guppies, the antlers.
So if you guys recognize the guppies, that is because they did come from my fish room. Zach wanted them, I did not, so now they're here.
We'll give them a good home.
Yeah, this is an awesome little tank. They'll love it here, and I'm sure you will have a million of them in no time at all. So we'll come back up. So let's talk about this tank.
So I have green Jade shrimp in here. They hide real well. There's actually one right in the front here if you want to check him out. He's got pretty good color. So again, I had a lot of phosphate issues with this tank, but it's starting to come back. So the water's a little cloudy, but we're at least able to see all the way to the back and see what kind of plants we have in there. Lots of different plants in there. I got a Vesuvius sword in there. We got some jungle val in the back. In the front we have Crinium, Calamastratum. There's a couple different kinds of Anubias. There's Lutea over there. There's a sword that was almost completely dead, all the way on the end there on the left. That sword was in with the gouramis, and they just kept eating it. I couldn't get them away from it. So I moved it into the shrimp tank, and it's slowly starting to grow back.
Some people have that problem with angels where they just eat their plants. That's how I got some of mine. Somebody was tired of them eating their plants.
Yeah. I think it's the new growth on the plants that they really like. I introduced my angelfish into a tank that was mostly planted and was established, and I haven't had any problem with them at all.
So speaking of angelfish and plants, down here we have angelfish.
So when we first planted this tank, I was just trying to propagate different plants, and we didn't put a whole lot of forethought into like aquascaping. We just kind of stuck things in the ground. So they've propagated themselves and kind of spread out and created their own little environment, but that's why it's bare on both ends. Because I've been pulling plants out and putting them in different tanks as needed. And eventually we'll redo this one.
I need to get as many plants as you have, if not even more. Just they're so great for the tank, for the ecosystem of the tank. The fish love them. They're great hides for fry if you're breeding stuff.
Aquatic plants are awesome.
Yes. If you don't keep plants and all you have currently are fake plants in your tank, definitely look into getting some easy to grow plants.
And they'll grow in front of your eyes. It's amazing how fast a plant will grow in a healthy tank.
So if you had to pick 3 plants for somebody that was just keeping fish for the first time, what would you suggest?
Any sword that you like. The one in the middle there that's kind of red is a melon sword. That's probably one of my favorites. Also, the one that was upstairs in the small tank is a red flame sword. I love those two. But I've had tons of luck with swords. Also, the one that's really big in the front. There's a bunch of plants right here in the front, but they're all Wendtii, Wendtii. And there's a bunch of different colors of those. Super easy to grow. And moss. Moss you can get in bulk, and it will just spread all over your tank. But you got to be prepared to kind of deal with that.
Nothing beats Java moss.
Nothing beats Java moss, man. It's awesome.
If you get too much, other people will always buy it from you. And over here, is this a 20 long?
Yeah, it's a 20 long. 20 long, lots of different moss. Right in the front, there's it's a banana plant. He's a lot of fun.
And more shrimp.
And more shrimp. There's blue dream shrimp in there, velvet blue dream shrimp. And they've bred a couple times.
Yep, there's some little ones over here.
Yeah, there's some babies in there, some buried shrimp in there. We 3D printed all the decorations. I had a lot of fun putting that tank together. I planned that one out way, way in advance.
Yeah, I see all the Star Wars stuff in there. That's awesome.
Hey man, those are the models I could find. And I was like, this will all look great, and we'll put a Stargate in there. And
oh, there you go.
Yeah,
we'll mix up all the stuff. These shrimp are awesome. I can't keep shrimp alive to save my life. We'll see though. We'll see if the ones that I got from you stay alive. They're alive so far, and it's been a couple of days, so that's a plus.
They're awesome too.
Yeah.
So these are intended to be fry tanks, but I'm using them for lots of different things. I have some placeholder fish in there right now, and the male platies that I was using to breed, because I wanted them to stop. I didn't want to keep going with platies because I knew I was going to be switching over to something else. Next tank over has 2 African dwarf frogs. They're both males. I had a couple females, but they weren't real healthy when I got them, and only the 2 males survived. Lots of fun. If you've never done aquatic frogs, they're super fun to watch.
But they will eat your fish.
They will. Well, I haven't had too much problem with them eating the fish. The clawed frogs are much more aggressive, and they will eat your fish.
Maybe that's
the
what it
biggest
was.
problem I have with the dwarf frogs is that if you keep them with other fish, they actually can't keep up, and they won't get fed, and they'll starve.
Ah.
So this one, there's just 2 danios in there, and a bunch of snails.
Yeah, that's no joke. That is. That kind of looks like one of my 10 gallons back home.
Yeah,
just snails
there are
everywhere.
Lots and lots of ram's horn snails in there.
One of us is going to have to get a pufferfish to feed these 2 eventually.
Please.
Yeah. And then the last 10 gallon?
And this is just the fry from the platies. There's a couple different kinds of platies. They're starting to get some color in there. Some Mickey Mouse platies and some sunburst platies.
So platies are a great starter fish. They're easy to breed. They're
Live
pretty
bears.
hardy. Yeah, live bears in general. So if you're looking for your first fish tank, 10-gallon tank with a trio of platies is a good place to start. And then we have this really sweet octagon, or I guess it's a hexagon. It's got 6-side tank.
Yep, there's a 45-gallon. I have yellow goldenback shrimp in there. All my shrimp right now are neocaradina shrimp, so they all kind of need the same parameters. You don't need to run them with a heater because they are fine between 68 and 73 degrees, but it gets cold. So I keep a heater in there just to make sure it doesn't get too cold in the tank. Keep it real low, 71.
And we just have to find them.
Well, there's one back on the challah wood that's the stick-looking piece of challah wood. There might be some inside that log as well. There's one buried female in there, but that's the only one I've seen that has eggs.
You can see it right there.
Oh, is she right there in the front? I'm very, very excited. Those shrimp came in late. They were super stressed, and I've lost. I ordered 20. I'm down to 14 now. And
Wow.
That's a tough hit, man.
Well, hopefully having her, having eggs on her already, you'll end up with more here shortly.
I just need them to be successful one time, and it's go time.
Yep. All you need is a good group to get started, and you're set from there. And you 3D printed the mines in here as well?
Yep, 3D printed the mines, we 3D printed the cubes. I'm trying to do a tank without moss. So I'm trying to give them more opportunities to get down in things and find tight areas to live, dark places. That's why I have the dragonstone in there.
Dragonstone's probably one of my favorite types of stone.
But like as much as I like the cherry shrimp tank upstairs, my biggest problem is that lots of the shrimp hide in that moss. And if you really want to watch them, you got to really sit there and look for them or feed them to make them come out. So I'd like to try a tank with a little more leafy, a little more open space for them to come out and put on a little show for you.
All right. Well, guys, this has been Zach's Fish Room. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. And as always, I will see you next time.